Hey friends, it's Carol, Saltbox Stitcher, back for video number
61.
It was a little late that time. It is Friday, January 14th, 2022, and I hope y'all are having a good start to the new year. I got lots of stuff around me. What have I been doing? I haven't really been doing any customer quilts, although I'm starting to get some, so next week may have to go back to work, so to speak, in the other room doing long arm quilting. Okay, so some of you have, a couple people have direct messaged me on Instagram, and they're like, okay, what did you decide to do for your January monogamous stitch or solid stitching in January? So one of them that I had narrowed it down to was Snooty Parrots by Barbara Anna, and the other one was A Country House by the sampler company Brenda Keys. So I decided to do Snooty Parrots. So this is the chart, Snooty Parrots by Barbara Anna, the Snooty Parrots sampler. You can order it through Creative Poppies. It came out a while ago, 2000, I don't see a date, 2013, but I'm pretty sure you can still get this. So Barbara Anna, Snooty Parrots. I'm doing it on 36 count vintage exemplar by Lakeside Linens with the called for overdyes. The only one that I switched was, it calls for sea spray, which I later found in my, in another project. But instead I'm using Sea Foam by Weeks. It's a little bit more intense color, but it's that real light teal color. So Snooty Parrots, and this is where I am on it. I would say I'm close to halfway done. So I've done the alphabet, a couple of those little baskets at the top. I'm working on the words. And the words are the same verse or saying or whatever, proverb, whatever it is. It's not a Bible verse, but no glory I covet, no riches I want. Ambition is nothing to me. The one thing I beg of kind heaven to grant is a mind independent and free. This is the same one as my Mind Independent and Free by Carriage House, the long, skinny one that I did. It's the same. It's just about the same words. So I kind of jumped around. I got the border completely finished. By the way, somebody said, when I did my web parade, they said, well, it looks like all you do is borders. I do finish things occasionally. So I'm working on the house. And then I decided to jump up and do one of the parrots. I love him. Is he not fabulous? Whoops, I guess I'm not showing it very good. Is he not fabulous? I just can't wait to do the other one. But sometimes once I have the border, that's my landmark. So then I can count over from a leaf or whatever so that I can get to the right place for the middle. I know a lot of people work straight down. I just have never done that. I always start in the upper left, go down, across. Then sometimes I'll come back up to here and go across. It just depends. I have one of the trees finished. So I have a lot of fun stuff left to do. But this one was a little bit tricky because the verse is not over one. But there's some hidden over one in just a few of these little tiny motifs. Let's see. This one between this basket and this flower right there is over one, and so is the one corresponding on the other side. The cartouche with the name is over one. And then there's a couple other things down here that are over 1. So in my looking at it, thinking there was no over 1, I got a little surprised that there is some over 1. I'm not sure what name I'm going to put on it because she put Barbara Anna right here above the house. But then she has initials all through here. I thought about putting my own name. I don't know. I might just put my first and my middle name. But then she has her work 1827. Well, I'm not going to put my name and then put 1827. If I'm going to do a reproduction sampler, I will put the girl's name. If it's something that I put my own name, I'm going to put the year I stitched it. So I would put 2022. So I don't know if I'm going to do that. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 sets of initials around, you know, like the different, let's see, one's right here, AM. And there were 6 in my family when I was growing up. My mom, my dad, 2 girls, 2 boys. I'm one of the girls, obviously. So, you know, I could put my family, and if I do that, then I'm going to, I don't know, put my own name in the year. But I'm more leaning toward putting like my mom's family or my dad's family and all the initials, and like maybe my grandmother's name and what year she was born. I don't know. I haven't decided that, but I will decide because I want to finish this. My goal is to finish this by the next video. We shall see. In between now and then, we have 4 or 5 days that we're going to have the grandkids that whole time. Because my daughter's going to a conference in Orlando, and my son-in-law is going to be in Bahrain with his Navy reserves. So we'll be having to take him to school in the morning. And we could actually stay at my daughter's house, but I want to sleep in my own bed. It'll be fun. But I don't know how much stitching, because I'll be going to bed earlier and all that good stuff. Or taking longer naps in the afternoon. I don't know. So that's the only thing I've been stitching on. So I guess at this point I could just say goodbye. But I decided that, you know, it's kind of hard to know when you're just stitching on one thing. What am I going to show? Well, what I decided to do is to show you the samplers that I finished during 2021. I sort of did it backwards. I should have done my finishes, and then I should have done my whips. But I did my whips first, and now I'll do my finishes. So, sorry. But before I do that, I'll show you my haul. I only got 2 things. This is the Threads of History Club Jane Charlotte Wynn 40 count from Country Sampler. The Schoolgirl Club was last year. This year is the Threads of History. And it's by Scarlett House. Of course, it's beautifully packaged. And I think it's on weeks. I'm not sure. It looks like weeks. I don't know. I'm not sure what the linen is. Does it say? It's 40 count. I think it's weak straw. That's what the model was stitched on, so I'm assuming that's what's in the kit. I love it. It's by the Scarlett House, Jane Charlotte Wynn. I don't think it's too late to get in this club, but I really have no idea. Love the colors. They're very Scarlett House. Just very, what I would call traditional colors. So I did get that. And then I got this that I ordered again from that Early Things, 1776. And this says Homespun Wool Company, Fleece Yarn Textiles. You know, somebody, when I showed the one that I got that was, what was the one? Oh, the Santa that I got around Christmas time. You know, somebody said, I don't know, like as if it was paper. It's not paper. It's like almost, It's not wood. Well, it could be. Could be a thin piece of wood with this, like, not embossed, but kind of on it. Homespun Wool Company. I love that sheep. Early Things, 1776. I'll try to remember to put that in the description box. It's an Etsy store. And I don't know. I may frame it. I may just stick it somewhere. I don't know. The next thing I want to show you, because I always get questions about what's back here. So what I'm going to do is first show you what was up there. I changed it because to me I got to thinking it looked kind of fall-ish. But the first thing that I did have up there was this. This is a Kim Deal quilt, and it was in the Whatnot series. So it was a kit from the, I think they were called Whatnots. I don't know what happened to the pattern. I don't always file my quilt patterns the same as I file stitching patterns. Stitching, I'm probably never going to do it again. Quilts, I could actually do this like another color or something. But anyway, that's what was on the Hoosier before. It's a Kim Deal. So if you're not a quilter, you're thinking, okay, we are already into the quilting. No, I'm just showing you what was up there before. This is the cross stitch that was up there. It's not professionally framed. In fact, I haven't really officially framed this. And this one, I think I said it was Hands to Work. It's actually Handwork Primitives. This came out years and years and years ago. And actually, this is one of the things I put away because before I started wearing readers, I got to the point where I couldn't see it. And I was like, oh, I don't know what the problem is. I can't see this. I don't know what it was on. 36 count Sparrow, which was a hand-dyed linen. I think by this Handwork Primitives. Handwork Primitives. And it's called Think of Me, 1837. So I apologize. It wasn't Hands to Work. It was Handwork Primitives. So that's this one that was up on the Hoosier last time. Anyway, long story short, I ended up getting readers, and it was like, oh my goodness, now I can see. It's amazing. Oh, this pattern, it's been around the mill. I mean, this plastic bag looks like something I don't know, cat drug in. So now I'm going to do something to save myself time. I'm continually asked about what's on this wall. Well, wait a minute. First, let me tell you about this one. That is called Hannah's Brownstone. It was an exclusive from Norden Crafts a long time ago. I think it has since been released. I think. Hannah's Brownstone by the Scarlet House. So that is this one right here. The quilt there is actually one that I just made up. It's just a 4-inch sawtooth star. There's 30 blocks. I use 15 fat quarters, some medium to light. I mean light to medium and some dark. And then I just exchanged out the pieces. So it has 30 blocks. They're 4 inches and they're all reproduction fabrics. And then I just added border and 2 borders, and that's what I did. And then this drum is part of the Cereal Bowl collection by Plum Street. Cereal Bowl collection of sampler lessons. This was lesson 1. I still have some of these lessons that I would like to finish. I made this drum myself. It's not great. Make use of present time. I put too big of a margin up here, and I don't really like that. So if I had it to do all over again, I would make it tighter on the top and the bottom. But it is what it is. It's done. It's done. So that covers that. Okay, let me see if I can do this. I hate to move the camera, but I think I'm going to have to. Okay. Oops, let me do it from this side so you don't see my hand. I'm going to pause it. Disaster averted. So you can see less of me, but more of what's on the wall. So I'm gonna go in order because I have so many people ask me questions about the samplers on this wall. So this one up here, at the very top, is Sarah Red Fern or Red Fern by the Scarlet House. I'm not going to take them out of the plastic. You can barely see it, but it's in there. Sarah Red Fern. He's adjusting me. Whoop, nope. Maybe I shouldn't have done this. Oh, no.
Just cut all that out.
Yeah.
Adjust where it's supposed to be.
It's fine now. The next one, which is this one right here, is Blackbird. It's in the book In Friendship's Way. Blackbird. And it is called the 1861 Antique Sampler. I used all the called for colors on both of these, actually. Sarah Redfern, Scarlet House, 1861 Antique Sampler by Blackbird in the book In Friendship's Way. Moving down. This one is by the Scarlet House, and it's Anne Pegg by the Scarlet House. I did use silks. I think it was an attic conversion. Anne Pegg by the Scarlet House. The next one down over here, I should go across and then I can move the camera. Let me do that. So the next one across up here is Mary Jane Smallman. And this is by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. This is something I think you'd have to get off of her website. I don't know. Mary Jane Smallman, 1876. By Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. Again, I used all the called for on that. Coming down, this is the big one, and this is Words of Praise Guidance Sampler. And this was a kit. I did it on, I think it's 30 count linen, 25 or 30 count linen. Might have been 28, I'm not sure. It had DMC in the kit, but you blended it. So it's done with 2 strands, and there might be 1 strand that's brown and 1 strand that's gold. You know, there's a lot of blending, which I really liked. And at the time, that was kind of like cool. Well, I still think it's cool, but anyway, Words of Praise, the Guidance Sampler. The next one down, I get a lot of questions about that one too. And when I move the camera back up, you'll see. And that is GGR, the Red Deer Sampler, 1861 to 1866. Red Deer Sampler. Again, I used the called for, and I did it on 36 count cedar plank by Lakeside Linens. That's that one right there. And then over here, up on top, is it's a blackbird. The blackbird is called Hannah Lavinia Jocelyn, 1856. It's in the book Honeysuckle Manor by Blackbird. I just thought it was so interesting because my grandmother's mother was Anna Livonia, and this is Hannah Lavinia. So it just was kind of a natural fit for me because it was so close to my grandmother's name, great grandmother. Coming down, the next one here, right there. And I'll have my husband maybe insert some pictures of the individual ones so that you can see them closer. And that is the Pink Sparrow sampler. I used all the called for. I know it has an orange, but one of the things that there's a note on here with the orange, it uses the sampler, Gentle Art sampler color burnt orange, and it has a note that says, I chose not to use the brown portions of the burnt orange floss. If your skein has a lot of browns running through it, just use the varying shades of orange, which I did. So that one is right there, Pink Sparrow. The next one going down, and I get a lot of questions about this one, and this is Harriet Elizabeth Coe, also by Brenda Gervais. This is what I lovingly call my wine piece. I spilled red wine on it, had to immediately put it in water, and there is some fading on mine, especially by the R and the H, but I don't care. I still framed it, had it framed. Harriet Elizabeth Coe by With Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais. And then the last two. Okay, let me try to move the camera again. I'm going to pause again. There's going to be a lot of splicing with this one. Anyway, this one, the last one in that is Still Waters by Plum Street. There's a couple other Plum Street that are kind of what I would call kind of companion pieces that I also want to do. Still Waters by Plum Street is this one. And then on the other side, this one here, right here, next to the lamp, is the Smith Sampler by Scarlett House. Okay, so in future videos, if anybody makes a comment and says, what is such and such on your wall, I'm going to tell them to go back to video number 61. Because it's sometimes I forget the actual name of them, and I have to go look for the pattern, and not that I wouldn't do it for y'all, but you know, takes away from my stitching time. So that is the list of what's on my wall. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do, I was going to get my calendar and I forgot. I can't tell you what order I did these, but I showed you my whips, and now I'm going to just recap. I think I have all the patterns here. I don't necessarily have them in order, but of all the things I finished, not all the things, the samplers and a couple smalls that I finished last year during 2021. Now, I told you my word for the year was going to be finish. It's also going to be frame. I'm going to purposely try to use my quilting money to get stuff framed, because I have a lot of things from the last 2 years that are not framed, and I can do some, but I can't do everything. So one of the things I'm not going to show you, because I've got it on a piece of foam core, I'm going to try to pin it and lace it, but is that big long one by Carriage House, Mind Independent and Free. I've shown that a number of times. All of these have been shown on my videos, so it's like a rerun. Most reruns don't happen till the summer. Remember the days when it was reruns summer? And then it kept getting earlier and earlier. So the new shows would start like the sitcoms back in the day. They would start like right after Labor Day. And then about, I don't know, March, April, they would finish filming, or, you know, no new ones. And then after that, everything was reruns. And so all summer, you got to, same time slot, you got to watch the reruns. Well, that's what this is. This is like a rerun in January. So, one of the first things I was going to show you, I did not get out this pattern. This is not available yet, but I'm assuming, oh, there's a magnet on here. I'm assuming this will be available at market, maybe, or this summer. I did put a magnet in here so it doesn't fall out. This is from the Silver Needle Retreat that I went to in June. So usually it's about a year. It was the Scarlet House, Tanya, and this is, I think it was called Gathering of Friends. There was multiple projects. I finished this one, put it in the tray. The tray came with the retreat piece. So I'm not sure when that'll be released. Sometimes Silver Needle things don't ever get released. They stay exclusive, but that's what I did at a retreat in June. So that was a small. I'll show you the smalls first. See, I'm going to have... Oh, this was the Mind Independent Free. That's the one that I'm in the process. It's on foam core, and I don't want to have to bring it in here. I guess maybe I didn't grab this pattern. Now that I've told you I grabbed all the patterns. Oh, make a liar out of me every time. Well, anyway, this was a finish in the fall. Reverend Squash Bottom. The Reverend Gordon Squash Bottom by Not Forgotten Farm. This one, I believe, well, let me just tell you, is on 40 Count Winter Brew by R&R. I loved it. Next year, I'm going to do the Tom Turkey. So that was a finish. The other one that was a finish that's already been sent to my sister was this one, Moon Garden. So she got that for her Christmas present. The first one I finished in 2021 was my January stitch. And this is by Milady's Needle. And it's called Elizabeth Watt 1816. I stitched only on this, and I think I finished it like in the first week of February. So this is Elizabeth Watt. Obviously not framed. I love it. It's one that I really want to get framed. So see, some of these are just, rather than buy another sampler, I think I'm going to save my money for framing. Elizabeth Watt, Milady's Needle. Done on, I believe this is Weeks Parchment, 40 count. These, like I said, are not in order. They were not all start and finish. That's the only one I think that, well, other than like the smalls. I think that's the only one that was a start and finish. The other ones were whips that I carried into 2021, and then I finished during 2021. So all of this to say, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, if I get time, I'm going to show you the 10 or 12 projects that were whips that you saw last week. But hello, here I am again, that I want to finish in 2022. So they're not going to be start and finish. Like Snooty Parrots will be, unless I finish all my whips, but that's probably not going to happen. But Snooty Parrots will be my start and finish. These are finished in 2021. This was Miss Manners. This I used a silk conversion from the Attic. And this is by GGR, Miss Manners. All of GGR charts, they're usually charted for either DMC or overdyed cottons. And many, many times the Attic will do a silk conversion. So that's Miss Manners. I'm not counting, but I know I had 30 finishes during the year, but these are some of them, not the smalls again. This one I finished, I think, in February. I'm not sure when I started this. I might have started in 2020. And that's a Ghoul Tide Welcome. This one is done on 40 count sand dune by Lakeside. Finished in 2021 in over one. And that is by Plum Street. There's Ghoultide, there's Yuletide, and there's Liberty Welcome. And I have done all of those. I thought there was another one. I don't know. Anyway, I've done Yuletide, Ghoultide, and Liberty Welcome. So obviously I'd like to have this one framed for the fall. Ghoultide Welcome, I used all the called for overdyes, and I think it was overdys. Wait a minute, let me look. No, you know what? It's NPIs, needlepoint silks. So that was another finish from last year. It's always good to get things finished. It just makes you happy. This was a start and finish. I lied. I said Elizabeth Watt was the only one. This is Cece or Acacia or whatever, Smith. And this is by the Scarlet House. Oops, got two patterns here. This is by the Scarlet House. I can't remember what threads I used for this. I don't know. Cece Smith, Scarlet House. I'm pretty sure it was overdyed cottons. And it's done on Picture This Plus. It's either Legacy or Heartland, maybe. I don't know. So that was a finish. This, I didn't get this out. Okay. I love this. And there's hope. Are you happy? You should be happy. If you're a sampler stitcher, you should be happy. This is the ES Spot Sampler by Of Female Worth. I did not get out the chart. I think I may have loaned this to someone. ES Spot Sampler. It's been out of print for a long, long, long time. The reds are fabulous. Celeste just finished and framed hers. And I just saw a snippet on 1884 Stitchery that McKenna is going to reproduce this. So be watching 1884 Stitchery. She's on Instagram, and there's a link in her Instagram profile, but I believe she's an Etsy store. I think. She could be a website, but it's 1884 Stitchery. And this is the ES Spot Sampler. And I did it in the called for overdyes. And it's gorgeous. This is one of the first ones I want to have framed. It's not huge, and I just love it. The next one that I finished last year was Mary Good. Mary Good is by Sassafras Samplers, which is Kimberly from Sassy Jacks. And again, contact her. This is still available. Mary Good, 1827. And for all the designers that use those crummy bags, this is what happened to my chart. The sticky got stuck and it pulled them. But that's okay. I understand. They're probably cheaper. And anyway, Mary Good. No more complaining, Carol. And this is Mary Good. And that's finished. And I used, this one I used silk, so I think I used a Vera Soie. Let me just see. Yes, I think I did use a Vera Soie. Soie d'Alger. The skeins, not the 103. Mary Good. I also used to call this my Pepto. My Pepto people. Yeah, another one I finished, and this again will be one that I really, really want to get framed soon, is the Seven Sheep. This one I started a few years ago. I want to say like 2018 or 2019. 2019, I think. Yeah, because that's the only time I went to the attic. And when I was at the attic, Tanya helped me pick out the fabric, the linen for it. I used the called for silks, and I used, what's it called? Double dyed autumn gold by Lakeside. Let me make sure I'm showing you the right piece, right side. So this is 7 Sheep Sampler by the Scarlet House, done on 40 count autumn gold. I think it's 40. No, you know what? It's 46. I did this on 46 because I remember it was a little tight on the 46 with the Avera Soie d'Alger because it's a little bit thicker. But I love the coverage. It came out beautiful. I love that dapper guy. He's fabulous. And the acorn tree. That is 7 Sheep. Another one that I finished last year. The next one is Charlotte Clayton. And this one I think I did start in 2018. There again, I mentioned last time, I'm not really good at keeping track of when I start things. This is Charlotte Clayton. I had this one going for quite a while. I know I was working on it in 2019, so it got finished in 2021. Charlotte Clayton. Oh, and this is by the the Commanding Officers Quarters Heritage Museum at Fort Worden State Park in Washington. I'm sure this is still available, but you may have to search to find it. Charlotte Clayton sampler. I went through my book and verified that I had finished all of these during. And this one I used 36 count metal rue by Lakeside. I don't think it was vintage metal rue, but it could have been. Charlotte Clayton. I even did the whiskers. You see the whiskers? I don't know what I'm showing you. The whiskers and the krynic on the cats. Those flowers were a little confetti-ish, but I loved them. I love that piece. That's another one I really want to get framed. Another one that I finished was Anne Topley, also by the Scarlet House. This one I used. I'm not sure what this is. It's a gray linen, obviously. It says Weigart base, but I'm not sure what I used. You know what? I'm going to sneeze. Oh, I'm so sorry. Anne Topley by the Scarlet House. It's small, so I'll hold it as close as I can. It has eyelet stitches. So that is this pattern, Anne Topley, 1802 by the Scarlet House. Then I finished, this is just a couple smalls that I picked. I did other smalls that were gifts. I did, other things, but this is L Genders, and this is by Brenda Gervais. And this one you make a little needle roll. I'm going to use ticking if I ever get it finished. And that one, I don't know what, that was on a scrap. I don't know what that one. This is from the Ooh La La book by Blackbird. It makes a little bag. I got this kit at Country Sampler. I'm not sure the name of it either. I could look it up, but it's in the Ooh La La book by Blackbird. This one is in the, what's it called? Something Club. That book. It's by Blackbird. It came out 2 years ago, 1 year ago. But these were actually from a retreat. It has a thread on it. These Sewing Club book. Thank you. Sewing Club book. Sewing Club book? Stitching Club book. Sewing Club book. Anyway, that's in that one. Same with these. I kind of got on a small Blackbird kick right after Barb passed away. Some of these I had already gotten at retreats, but they're in that book. This is Willing Hands by Blackbird. And this is one that fits on a box. So those are my finishes from last year. Not all of them, but those I did finish during the year. I hope I didn't mess up my... We had a little problems last time on our recording because some things there was no sound. So we had to go back and splice in from the next day. It was not a fun thing. And it's a new microphone from my son, so I don't think it was the microphone itself. If anything, it was like connection or something, so I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to show you now. This is not exhaustive, obviously, because I have so many whips. I did get a comment from somebody that said, I hope I'm alive when you finish all these whips. And I wanted to write back and say, no, I hope I'm alive to finish them. Anyway. So let me just pull out, I think I pulled about 10 or 11, I don't know. These are, a few people said, try the Dave Ramsey, like if you want to get out of debt. I don't know if I've ever been out of debt. Anyway. But these are ones that I want to, one just fell on the floor, that I want to do them start to finish in 2022. So obviously I'm going to pick ones that have a lot finished already, and then I can just keep moving on. So Rachel Miller from Needle and Flax showed her Lucy Calcott. This one's the 1825. This one's bigger than I think the other one's 1826. They're two samplers by the same girl. I do like this one better. I have the other one also, but I like this one better. So this is Miss Lucy Calcott, 1825. So this one I'm using the Aversois Soie d'Alger. And Rachel showed her finish all framed, and I was like, oh, that is gorgeous. I have to get back to that. So I have a lot to do. I only have part of the border. I didn't iron it. Shame on me. I'm just happy to show you that it's the right side, not the wrong side of the piece. But the colors are gorgeous. I'm excited to get back to this. So this may be the next thing I pick up after I do Snooty Parrots. Even though it doesn't have as much finished. What I started to say about the Dave Ramsey is that you take, I think the method is for paying off your bills. You take the bill that is closest to being paid off, and you really put a lot toward that. And then the other ones, you just make minimum payments, and then eventually you will, which doesn't really apply because I'm not going to make minimum payments. I'm going to just double down and try to finish these that are started. So that's the first one, Miss Lucy Calcott, 1825. The next one that I'm bound and determined to get finished this year is the Plantation Sampler. I was gifted this book. Whenever you're gifted something, you just really feel like, I don't know, compelled maybe is the word. Not obligated, but compelled to get it finished. These I'm using big combinations. There's some NPIs, there's some DMC, a little bit of everything. I'm not sure where I got that conversion, but this is where I am on this one. The Plantation Sampler. This is done on Vintage Beeswax by R&R. Love the colors. So this will be one of the first 5. Can I say that? We'll just see what, but I am going to try my best to just double down and get these finished. So then I'll have even more to frame. Oh my gosh, I need a haircut. Did you ever know somebody that was like, their hair never looked like it needed to be cut? Now, obviously, that means that they got haircuts on such a scheduled, regular basis that you never saw like a little bit long or a little too short. It was just always exactly at the right time, so their hair never looked any long, There was this one girl I used to work with, I thought, does your hair not grow? Because your hair always looks the same. It doesn't look shorter because you just got a haircut. It doesn't look a little long because you're due for a haircut. I'm not that kind of person. I wish I was. I get to the, oh my, you need a haircut. And then I get it cut and it's like, whoo, it's balding here. Maybe by next time I'll have gotten a haircut. I don't regularly schedule. I think the gal I get my haircut would love for me to regularly schedule, but it's $50, and then by the time I tip her, it's more, and I'm like, I could buy some linen for that. So I'll wait until... I showed this last time, New England Sampler. This is by the Scarlet Letter. Did I show it close enough? I don't know. New England Sampler by the Scarlet Letter. Kitten Stitcher finished this one. This is on Seaweed by Fox and Rabbit. Again, I have the border done, starting on some bands. So a lot of these that have the border done, I'm ready for the fun stuff. So that's the advantage of doing the border first. So that's number 3 that I want to work on and get finished. This is number 4. I'm not really saying they're number 1 through 4. I don't know what order I'll do them. I didn't even know till I sat down whether I was going to do Snooty Parrots or Country House. And then for some reason I just was like, I think I want to stitch those parrots. So see, that's how my brain works. I told you I don't like me telling me what to do. So this one is the City Stitcher Adam and Eve sampler. And this one again, I'm ready for the good stuff. Ready to do the tree. Now there is back stitching on this, and I don't know if I'm going to do the back stitching. It's around Adam and Eve. It's around the snake. No, it's not around the snake. It's around Adam and Eve. There's some back stitching in the leaves of the tree for the veins. We'll see how it looks. Adam and Eve are pretty light, so they may show up just fine. We'll see. And this one I'm doing on 40 count straw by Weeks. And that's all DMC. If you haven't watched Rachel from Needle and Flax, I think she has 5 videos up now. She's my new BFF. The next one, this is a duh, because this is so wonderful. Ann Rayner. It's out of print. I'm sorry. Again, the border's finished, so I'm ready for the good stuff. I'm working on some of the bands. Love it, love it, love it. And I'm doing this on 46 count Weeks parchment. Love it, love it, love it. Again, get it done, girl. And this one I'm using the silk conversion from Plum Street's blog. Plum Street samplers. This one I picked because I wanted to have a Shakespeare's Peddler one, and so it's Maria Finney. I love the way that house just pops on that dark linen. It's done on, I think it's Weeks straw, but it's not the Zweigart base. It's like this, I think. Maria Finney. It was a country sampler piece. Again, I have the border almost finished, so I'm ready to start on the fun stuff. And that is done with overdyed cottons. So, as the year goes on, we'll see how much of these I actually finish, or if I decide I'm itching to start something new. I don't plan to start something new, but I don't know. This was another actual thing I counted as a finish, and this is from Jenny Bean's Parlor series. So I'm ready for number 2. So I want to get the second part of that done. But that, again, is another thing I finished in 2021. So the second part of that is, hold please. It's not the forest. Yeah, Adam and Eve. So I need to check and see that I have all of the, it calls for either DMC or overdyed cottons. I have some overdyed cottons, but I don't know if there's some I need. So those 2 are my Shakespeare's Peddler ones that or Kitten Stitcher that I want to work on this coming year. I think this is the last. So this makes up like 10 samplers that I picked out of my whips that have to be finished. This may move up to be like number 2 because I love this one. I showed it last time, Jane Cowie by the Scarlet House. Jane Cowie 1850 by the Scarlet House. I'm doing this one on Meadow Rue, 40 count Meadow Rue by Lakeside. This is a lot different Meadow Rue than my Charlotte Clayton, but that's what it says, Meadow Rue by Lakeside on the tag from the attic. So Jane Cowie, I really want to I want to get some of it done, and I really want to work on some, because there's a lot of over one, and I could do a tent stitch, we'll see. I don't want to just get to the end and have all that. So I'd like to do a little bit and then maybe move up and then do a little more and then move up. Ideally. Because the border, other than the flowers, filling in the flowers, is done. And they're real simple flowers on the border. Like, I guess that's strawberry border. They do have 3 colors though, so that does take a little bit of time when you have to do 3 colors on the borders, on the flowers, I mean. But it's so pretty. So pretty. And I really... So that one is a Scarlet House I want to finish. This one I've shown, how many? 100 times? Let's see, I've done 60. This is my 61st video, so at least 50 times. And that's Ellen Strick, 1849. It has a lot of over one, and I just need, it's on 46 count. I could easily do the tent stitch. It's just been languishing and languishing and languishing, and it needs to get finished. Carol. See, I get pretty bossy at me. So this is why I don't have plans, because I get really bossy at me. The latest Camilleism. She's 6. I don't think I told this one. So my husband asked her if she still wanted to be a nurse. Because when my daughter was in hospital with cancer, one of her nurses was Camille. So that was one of the few people she'd ever met that actually had the same name. And so Nurse Camille let Camille, our granddaughter, you know, she got her a stethoscope. You know, she just kind of let her kind of hang with her when she was with my daughter. And so ever since then, Camille has wanted to be a nurse. So my husband asked her, Camille, do you still want to be a nurse? Yeah, or a doctor. And he said, well, why do you want to do that? She said, because I'm just so inspired by blood. What 6-year-old says that? So then my husband had a cut on his hand when he was at their house. She goes and gets the Band-Aid, looks for Neosporin. She's going to just completely doctor him. She put the Band-Aid on. We were like, maybe she is going to be a nurse or a doctor. She's a hoot. Hannah Tingy, Scarlet House, the reindeer with the big eyeballs. I'm doing it with NPIs, the called for. And this is another one. I'm even into the fun stuff, and I need to just get it done. See, this is why I love to do the borders, because then when I pick up something like this, I'm like, woohoo, let's go. I'm in the fun. You know, when you can just like pick it up and start working on a house. That is the ultimate. That's the ultimate. I'm telling you. Or a basket. Trees are not my favorite. Some trees I really like, but some of them, when the branch goes up 3, over 2, out 1, it's like that can get a little tiring in my brain when I'm counting. So some trees are not my favorite. The ones that have just like branches that go out. If they're those kind that are just like pyramid trees, love those. So anyway, so that is what I have planned for stitching. So if you're just here for the stitching, that's it. I showed you what I'm working on. I showed you the 2 things. Well, one was not really stitching, but that I got for haul. I showed you my finishes from last year. I showed you the wall. I showed you all of this. You should be satisfied for the day. I get the nicest comments, and I really am so appreciative. These people that send me comments about how much they appreciate it, and I understand in lockdown and everything, everybody needed to have a little bit of relief, comic or whatever, stitching, whatever, a little bit of relief from just, you know, looking out the windows at the outside world. My husband and I stay home a lot anyway, but I really do. I do really appreciate the comments. What's awkward for me is when people I know that I've worked with or my friends, and then they talk to me about my videos. That to me is a little, I think it's embarrassing. I was with a bunch of stitching friends yesterday, and one of the gals we meet at the quilt shop, and one of the gals that works at the quilt shop, I used to work with her years ago. She's like, "You're my favorite YouTube person." I was like, "Oh, don't anybody look at me." You know, anonymous people that make a comment, I really appreciate. It's wonderful, but you don't really know me. They know me. So that's why it's weird. Anyway, thanks for watching this part of it, and I will be back hopefully in 2 weeks, and I will be putting on my roller skates because the following week is when we have the kids. So my daughter's birthday is Monday. She'll be 36, so it usually falls always around Martin Luther King Day. So she usually gets the day off work, but not because it's her birthday. But I also want to say happy birthday to Brenda, whose birthday is Sunday, the 16th. So happy birthday, Brenda. And we love you, and we will continue to watch you as you continue to stitch and entertain us. So thanks for watching. That's all the stitching. Love you. Bye.